12-year-old undersized genius known by Willow Chance is accused of cheating on the state exam after her parents decided to have Willow transfer schools. The first time Willow walked into her new school, people just thought she was the shy, weird kid, and she was perfectly fine with that as long as she had her plants and could count by sevens. Her life was normal until she was called down to the principal's office and accused of cheating on the test after she got 100% in under 20 minutes. So the principal said once a week she should go see the district counselor, Del Duke. So she did, she just didn't tell her parents. Then one day, Del drove Mai, her brother, and Willow to get ice cream before going home. While driving to Willow's house, they saw police cars everywhere. They were all in front of Willow's house. Her parents were in a collision with an ambulance number 807, and from that day on, Willow never counted by sevens again. Just when Willow thought that her world was over, Mai gave her hope. She went up to the policeman and said they will take custody of her. But then a social worker comes along and takes her to a children's center. Willow ends up in the hospital and takes it as her chance to escape back to Mai's family. But not everything ends up that way. What happens after Willow is deemed missing? Does she even get found? Who finds her? In all honesty, I didn't think the book was that great. It's not one of the books that gets you really sucked in and that makes you want to keep reading. Around page 150 is when I think it started to get a little interesting and it wasn't just dragging on and on and on. This book was just something mindless I could read for hours because it felt like I was reading a TV show's pilot episode, except the show never got past probably the third episode because people liked it, just not enough to keep the show on air. Let's take the show Cocktails with Chloe, for example. Everyone knows what it is. It's just they didn't like it, and they had very high expectations for it that weren't met. There were 60 chapters and 378 pages in this book, in so much detail that it probably would have been more interesting if half of these chapters were left out and there was half as much detail in it, because it was just so boring. She could be sitting down in a chair, and they would go through every thought she has had since she has been 3 years old. Like, cool, she learned to walk, she can talk. Now get on with the book. I want to know what happens, and not in 5 more chapters.